Well, thank you, Jenny and Harvey, for being available for us to interview you. Maybe as a start, could you kind of share about a bit more about yourselves?
You can go first.
That's hard. I don't share about myself very often. I guess from a work point of view, I'm now in the final years of my working life. So I had intended, I think, to retire earlier this year because the project I'd worked on all my life, which was the Qantas reservation system, my last job was to decommission it. And having decommissioned it, I didn't have a job anymore, but the company wanted me to stay on and work in the new technology, and I said, no, I'm not really interested. But in the end, I'm working in a second level help desk job, solving problems that no one else can solve. I'm very left-brained. I'm very organised, much to Jen's horror.
Neat and tidy.
I'm neat and tidy, and she's the opposite. And that's always something that you should look at before you go into relationships, how if you can handle your partner being completely different to you. I think God has a sense of humour because it kind of, it's probably lightened me up. A primary gift for Jen is hospitality. We're both very relational, so we complement each other pretty well. We've been in Bible studies together for a long time.
Well, this year I've started minding my grandson 2 days a week, and I have my hobbies which keep me active, and I do typing for an OT, have people over for dinner. That's all I do.
So tell us, where did your, relationship all started? How did you first meet?
Jen had spent 2-3 years in London doing what Australians did back in the 70s. As part of my job, I was asked to go to live in London on Australian wages for 12 months, just down the road from her. So we didn't actually know each other. Our mothers actually knew each other. When I came back, my mother was saying, "Oh, you should, why don't you go and see Ivy's daughter because she's been in London?" And you say, "Yeah, Mum," all this stuff. We were invited to a wedding, and all of the unattached were up the back on table 56 or something. And then we actually met at that wedding. I hear my mother now on the way home saying, "Did you meet anyone interesting?" And I said, yeah. And so it was I told you so,
So Harvey, how did you propose?
I don't remember.
I can't remember either.
Probably something romantic like, "I think I better go and ask your father if for his permission to have her hand," because that was that was the thing that you used to do.
What attracted me to him was, in those days, all Chinese boys, wore black rimmed glasses. It was like, every single Asian man that wore them. And he wore gold rimmed glasses. I thought, and he wore an orange bow tie. And I thought, somebody different.
How shallow
Not
is that?
run of the mill.
How shallow is that, eh?
No, that's fine. That's, I didn't want a run of the mill person.
Okay. So having been married for 37 years, what have you learnt about relationships at this time?
I think things have improved. Like when we first married, we were just sort of like nominal Christians. We just went to church and warmed our pews, so to speak. And then when we went to America, we were actually challenged. Our faith was challenged, and we became more committed and to Jesus. And I think that from then, when you realise that, put God in the middle of your relationship, I think that helps a lot.
More recently, there's the importance of headship in the family. I think that spiritual headship, I'm talking about. I think just setting aside the time to pray together. Me being a morning person, I used to like to get to work early to get through stuff, but now I stay back and we start the day doing our devotions together, and I think that's been really, really important. You have to work through whatever issues that you do have. You have to get them out in the open.
And you have to have a sense of humour. If you don't have a sense of humour, I can't imagine having a relationship without a sense of humour. But you have to find humour in things, otherwise it's pretty grim. You have to be able to laugh at things. Some people sort of like outgrow their partner and I think that's why headship's so important, because that guy, as he's the head of the family, he brings you along as well, and so that's good. I mean, headship is really important. If you're going to have children, if you don't have a strong partner that thinks that headship is what God ordained him to have, then you've got a big struggle, because when you're disciplining their children, you have to have a leadership from there as the head of the family.
So Harvey, what would be one piece of advice you would give to young guys?
To young guys? In relation to life?
Or relationships?
In relationships? I think respect of the person that you're going out with, but not, I don't think respect means that you do everything that person says. I think it's about thinking long term, about serving the Lord together as a couple. I think that's really important. I think that because of how I feel about headship, I think that if you're unequally yoked spiritually, or if you're in a relation, if the girl you're going out with was a lot more spiritually mature than you, I'd really put that on the table as a discussion kind of point, because it could be that the guy has only just come to know the Lord recently, but has great capacity to grow really, really quickly and take over that headship. But I think that if I met somebody who was a girl who was like way up here spiritually and I was way down here, I think that would be I'd really have to work through all of those things before the relationship got really serious, because I think it's a serious enough thing that if you were always almost subservient to that person's opinions, etc., then it's not going to work out. It's not how God designed family. I think God has to be at the centre of your relationship, because what we read about in Scripture I think that God has ordained families to work in a particular way, and He wants us to take that seriously. And if we don't, as guys, if we don't take those responsibilities seriously, then it's going to be rocky.
And Jenny, what would be your one piece of advice for young girls?
I think for all girls, they have to remember that they've been made in God's image, and that they should value themselves, not sell themselves short, and respect themselves and respect the guys that they're going with. If you don't have that confidence that you are of value, then and that God has made you, then you there's very a lot of chance that you would sell yourself short and do things that you probably in the back of your mind know that you shouldn't be doing. But you just have to cling on to the fact that you are valued. Christ died for you, and that you are a very valuable person and a precious one, and that you have to respect that and cling on to that, and that's how you should go through life. That don't disrespect yourself in any way, in anything, or your body or anything, and then that should stand you in good stead.